A Midsummer Night's Dream overture by Mendelssohn, just 17 years old when he wrote that. Claudio Abbado conducting the London Symphony Orchestra.
Is classical WQ.
Experiences start off on a good note. Let us cue the music for you. The classical music heard throughout the airport is made possible by Pittsburgh International Airport. FlyPittsburgh.com.
In 1998, a couple of violin-playing astrophysicists in California discovered a supernova that exploded almost 10 billion years ago. Its official name is SN 1998 EQ, but you could call it Albinoni. Tommaso Albinoni. That's the nickname they gave the supernova. And you'll hear music by Albinoni and other superstar Baroque-era composers this week on Sunday Baroque. Sunday morning at 7, here on QED 89.3.
PRI, Public Radio International.
A concert with High Tea, the Royals. For Downton Abbey fans, the sweeping canvas of Sir Edward Elgar's Symphony No. 1 from British conducting master Sir Mark Elder in his Heinz Hall debut. He's invited Pittsburgh Symphony Cello and Martindale Williams to play Tchaikovsky's Rococo variations and adds Till Eulenspiegel's Merry Pranks by Richard Strauss. I'm Jim Cunningham. It's Cheerio on the radio in stereo. Pittsburgh Symphony Radio, made possible by the Helen Ruth Gordon Charitable Trust and the musicians of the Pittsburgh Symphony. Sir Mark Elder is music director of the Halle Orchestra, a principal artist of the Orchestra of the Age of Enlightenment, and artistic director of Opera Rara. He was music director of the English National Opera from 1979 to 1993, and Sir Mark has been principal guest of the City of Birmingham Symphony Orchestra, the BBC Symphony, and London Mozart Players. He has recorded
Hello. Hello.
Actually, you should come over. Jimmy turns. See, I always knew there was more to the story than what Corey was saying. I know she. Well, I know. I just want to find out. And tell you what, that other thing.
Yeah, we'll see what happens when they finds out. They're not going to like it. It's within management rights. You're saying too many times. Prince would just say, "Oh, yeah, I'll just pick up the phone and call," but it's not how the world works. So much, and we have subs. But you
Good evening, everyone. The hour of 7 p.m. having arrived and passed. Apologies for our tardiness. I call to order this agenda-setting meeting for the Woodland Hills School Board for the month of October 2018. Ms. Pugh, will you call the roll?
David Graves.
Present.
Sheree Seligson.
Present.
Jeff Hanchett.
Here.
Ava Johnson. Veronica Curry. Here. Jeff Hildebrand.
Here.
Paige Strasbaugh. Here. Mike Belmont.
Here.
Jamie Glasser.
Present. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Wait, do we start?
No, I'm finished.
Take a step back.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated.
Thank you all very much for being here. Okay.
I love America.
Next week, we will accept the minutes for the agenda and legislative meetings for September. The board met in executive session this evening to discuss legal and personnel matters. Mr. Harris, do you have any announcements?
Yes, I do. That's loud. Okay, the second annual Hugs Trunk or Treat is Sunday, October 21st from 2 to 4 p.m. at the high school. Over 100 trunks are participating, comprised of school leaders, school organizations, local leaders, local businesses, and Woodland Hill families. Registration is now closed because capacity has been reached. The event will take place in the back parking lot by the tennis courts. Those who are hosting trunks can start to arrive between 12:30 and 1 p.m. to check in, get their space, and set up their trunks. Those who are coming just to participate should park in the main lot and should plan to arrive no earlier than 2 p.m. to allow time for the trunk host to prepare. So that everyone may enjoy the event, we request that only walk through, collecting candy one time, and remember that smoking is not permitted on school grounds. In addition to the safe, fun trick or treating, there will be food trucks with available food for purchase, face painting for $3, a touch and feel sensory station, a costume exchange table, and the high school group Helping Paws will be selling pumpkins to raise money for the Woodland Hills Dance Marathon that is fundraising for the Children's Hospital. Free transportation will be available with stops at Dixon, Fairless Administration, the Academy, and Rankin. Candy donations are still being collected for the refill station and are greatly appreciated. If you still like to donate, you can drop off at any Woodland Hills office and feed the Candy Monster or at a pub in the park in Swissvale. Be sure to follow Woodland Hills School District Hugs on Facebook and check out the Facebook event Hugs Trunk or Treat for up-to-minute information. Next. I'd like to take this time to acknowledge my assistant, our very own Teresa Hawthorne, a.k.a. Lady Hawthorne. for receiving a City of Pittsburgh proclamation from Councilman Daniel Lavelle of the City of Pittsburgh, October 4th, 2018. She was named, October 4th, 2018 was named Jazz on the Hill Day, which celebrated the rich legacy of jazz music in the historic Hill District. Teresa was among several great artists and musicians who received legendary recognition for her significant contribution to the jazz music in the city. Congratulations. Would you like to say a few words?
Can you give us a sample?
Would you say a few words?
Can you sing for
Let's
us?
sing a few.
Yeah. We get a little sample of.
She had a day dedicated to her, but he gave it to her at 7 p.m., which wasn't much left in the day.
So this is so unexpected. Thank you very much. I appreciate you all acknowledging me here. It was an honor. When they called me to be a part of the event, I thought they were asking me to sing, but the conversation wasn't making sense. And I said, "Oh, you want to honor me?" And they said, "Yes." I said, "I'd much rather be honored. Thank you." So I really appreciate you all acknowledging it. Thank you very much.
Can you sing for us? Sing something.
No.
We'll give you a week to prepare for it next week.
Next week.
Or at least let us know when your next gig is so we can come out. And
Or better, that's even better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you do have a next gig. What is the next gig?
To perform at Trunk or Treat.
Oh, good Lord. 27th. It's a Harlem's Night event. However, I will be at the Tomlin Diamonds event. Well, of course, that's not till next year. But I'll let you know before then. I mean, I have things all in November. I just don't have my calendar.
We'll look forward to an email.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else have announcements? Okay. Seeing none. Our student speakers from the high school will be here next week, I believe. Presentations. Is Mr. Hall here for a presentation, or is he going to talk to us at the end about his project? Yeah. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Hall. Thank you for being here.
I'd like to do a service project for the high school, and my idea was to build a bridge for the cross-country team's trail that goes through the woods behind the school. And so my project idea was to build a small bridge to go over the creek to make it safer for the members to run their trail. And in addition to that, I was going to refurbish and repair the outdoor classroom that's near that area back behind the school. I have 3 packets of the basic plan for the project. All I need is board approval to start the project, and then I can bring it on to the next stage and have the Boy Scout committee approve it.
Okay. Before I let you sit down, tell us who you are, what troop you're from.
I'm Jerome Hall from Troop 90.
Okay.
And this is for my Eagle Scout project.
Great. So we'll review what you've presented and take a look. We have a voting meeting next week, so we'll see if we can get it on the agenda for that.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone have any questions for Mr. Hall before he sits down? Mr. Finney?
I just want to add something. Last year we did this for Wilkins, Boy Scouts, and they built a fence in the back of Wilkins. Also, there was some benches that were made, and it turned out really nice from our Boy Scouts.
Yeah. Generally, Boy Scouts do good work.
I can verify that because I was there helping to put the fence in.
There you go.
There was plenty of room for the deer to come and eat off the field still.
I have a question. By yourself, or would you be working with other folks?
I would be working with other folks. So I'd be the supervisor for the project. I'd do all the main planning, but then I'd gather volunteers from my troop, my friends, people from the National Honor Society, and who else that would want to volunteer to help would also be able to come down and help, because it would be a lot of manual labor.
Okay. Anything else?
Thank
you.
You're welcome.
All right. I can attest to Jerome's construction skills. He's one of my crew captains.
How big bridge building is.
Yeah. So, okay. That'll move us to registered speakers. I believe we have none. Is that correct, Ms. Pule?
That's correct.
Okay. No registered speakers this evening, which moves us into the agenda. Mr. Harris.
Okay. Board Matters 2.1. Verify that evaluations of the superintendent superintendent, assistant superintendent, and contracted administrators are completed or underway.
Any questions?
Yeah. What does this mean? What are we actually voting on?
I don't believe it's an action item. Sorry.
Oh, it's just information. Okay.
Yeah, it's an information tab. So.
Okay.
We'll just. Okay.
Okay. 2.2. We seek approval for Sarah Keller to attend the A/CAPA conference in Hershey, PA on October 29th through October 31st, 2018 at a cost of $1,078.27.
Any questions on that? Okay. Seeing none?
Okay. 2.3, we seek approval of revised policy 201.1, registration proof of residency requirements.
Any questions on this?
Yes, I read through this. Is it just the one bold point about the valid ID?
Yes.
There was, okay.
Yeah.
And then, okay, you're going to be the, all right. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. 2.4, we seek approval of attached resolution 538-18, authorizing James P. Harris as an approved signer of contracts with the Pennsylvania Department of Education.
Any questions on that? Okay. Seeing none?
2.5, we seek approval of the revised Act 93 agreement.
Any questions?
Yes. Can we get my name spelled correctly?
Certainly. We can do that.
If you look at page 3 under Board of Directors.
I didn't catch that one. I did catch other typos on that page. Oh, yep. I'll correct that. Yep. Apologies. It's not. I mean, not. I will not correct it personally. I will ensure that the solicitors correct that.
Okay.
And my name's not Charles. It's.
Oh, jeez.
Hold on. Yeah.
Okay. We'll correct.
Yeah.
So we should
Is
make
that how you were identifying too? Or Mister?
Yeah. Okay. So we're just going to go ahead and correct the whole board of directors list.
Thank you.
Or start calling you Chuck. Just make a choice there.
Strong name.
Yeah. Okay. Any questions with the content of the document as opposed to the stuff that we messed up? Okay. All right. Seeing none on that, I'll just note that for the record that it is the idea of the revisions is to allow us to hire part-time employees under the Act 93 provisions, and that's something that our administration has indicated they would like to do. So that's why we're considering this. Okay.
Okay. Curriculum 3.1, we seek approval to enter into a contract agreement with Sound Foundation Reading Instruction, LLC, to provide services for non-public schools as per federal programs.
Any questions?
Is there a limit to how many hours? Because it's like, it says, I see it's like billed at $40 per hour, but is there a limit to how many hours?
They're limited by their allotment. So those funds are provided to Redeemer Lutheran and they have a fixed amount of funds. They've chosen to spend them on the service provider, but once those funds are spent,
then that's it. Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Seeing none.
Okay, Curriculum 3.2, we seek approval of the ECET2 project grant in the amount of $18,900. This grant is for the grant period of August 10, 2018 through June 30th, 2019.
Any questions? Okay. Seeing none.
Okay, 3.3, we seek approval to accept the Fisher Scientific Grant in the amount of $25,000 to be used by the Science Department of the Senior High School.
Any questions?
I just have a question. How many years have we gotten this now? This is like
this is the second year.
Okay, all right.
Any other questions?
Actually,
Do we have details on the plans on what they intend to use it for?
I was going to say, could we get either that or what they did with it last year?
Yeah, or both would be great.
Yeah, I can get both of those things. Yeah, last year they primarily were updating our laboratory experiment equipment. There were digital microscopes, there were new sensors, apply devices and monitor microscopes and collect data. There were smart boards purchased and computers purchased to help facilitate that. This year they're expanding those usages as well as bringing in some more reality experiments and virtual dissections.
Cool. Thank you. Any other questions? Sorry. Any other questions? Okay. Seeing none.
All right, special education. 4.1, we seek approval to ratify special education and related services between Belfair JCB's educational institution, known as Monarch School, for the 2018-2019 school year. Annual tuition, $86,125.
Any questions on that? Okay. Seeing none.
4.2, we seek approval to ratify a letter of agreement with the Watson Institute Social Center for Academic Achievement, WISCA, program for the 2018-2019 school year. Total annual cost, $45,135.
Any questions? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move right along.
Okay, pupil personnel, 5.1. We seek approval to accept a memorandum of understanding between the Community School East and the Woodland Hills School District.
Any questions? Okay, seeing none.
Okay, personnel, 6.1. Section A, authorization for leaves. Section B, authorization for retirement/resignation. Section C, authorization to hire professional staff. Section D, authorization to hire non-professional staff. Section F, authorization for EDR/mentor actions. Section G, authorization for miscellaneous.
Any questions?
I have an EDR question, and I guess it's an athletics question.
Okay.
So I know you guys are going over the redoing the EDRs. I'm just curious how we determine, or how it was determined that a certain activity gets. And I have nothing against girls basketball, but why they have 3 assistant coaches? Is that based on number of participants, or what? Because I know other sports. I know other sports have 40 kids and they have 1 assistant slot, and the other assistant coaches or volunteers aren't getting paid anything.
No, it's actually an excellent question, because during our meeting that we did have an EDR, I asked that same question because there's overwhelmingly a number. Some teams only have like 1 coach, and other teams have multiple. So I did ask Mr. Corsi
and you know what? If there's 150 girls coming out for the varsity basketball team and they need that's cool. I'm fine with that. I'm just curious how those numbers are determined, right? Because it's $8,000 or plus an assistant plus a head coach, right? So
to piggyback what Mr. Gray said, the number of coaches was originally assigned based on the population that we had when that contract was. And so at the time, there was a certain amount of young ladies playing basketball, and they did I don't know if Mr. Crone said it was a survey or just a poll of how many kids were allotted per sport, per club, per organization, and then they allotted the amount of supervisors/sponsors/coaches per sport. Obviously, as we stated, and in our meeting we discussed it, that document is very outdated. I will say, though, in comparison to other districts, our number of paid coaches is on par with a lot of our neighbors for all of our sports. So that's not where we're lacking equity at. Where we're really lacking equity is in just the amount of stipend that we're actually paying. So we had a conversation about perhaps eliminating a coach here, eliminating a coach there. But we also had the conversation about there may be some sports that maybe want to add a coach, i.e. football. Football has the largest amount of assistant coaches, but they also have the largest amount of athletes. And we have quite a few volunteer coaches that don't get paid but are coaching full-time as if they were. We also talked about other sports that maybe only have 8, 9 young men or young ladies, but they have 3 paid coaches. That doesn't make any sense. So that's part of our meeting that we're going to discuss. We meet again next week. I've already highlighted some positions that I think that we can eliminate. I've also highlighted positions that I think that we can supplement. As I stated, and I'll let Mr. Graves follow up on it, as I stated in our previous EDR meeting, and me and Mr. Belmont actually had this conversation today, some of the decisions that we recommend are going to be frowned upon, just because of tradition, because of history, because of Woodland Hills / Churchill / Turtle Creek has always had this, but in 2018 it doesn't really make sense. I hope that answers the question.
No, that's good. I'm also remarkably curious why an assistant coach gets $2,500 and the head of a department gets $875. So I don't know. Maybe the amount of work to be an assistant coach is different than being the Head
Right.
of the English department, for instance.
Right.
But
Well, that's above my pay grade. I don't know how that decision was made, but I do know, like I said, we are comparable with other school districts as far as what the coaching stipend numbers are. It's just the actual dollar amount that we're severely lacking. So we need to make some difficult decisions in the next couple of months. And I think our committee, we had a very productive first meeting. I think we'll be able to present to you some viable options. And again, I just forewarn you, there's going to be some people that are going to push back because essentially we're going to have to eliminate some stuff. We're going to have to change some stuff. And we all know change is hard. And some people fear change and some people don't appreciate it. So I just want to forewarn you of that. And we'll do a diligent job of making sure that everybody is supported. That's the beauty of our committee. You know, you have every facet of that contract represented within that meeting.
and I don't know what you're talking about as far as pushback goes. That never happens.
It's going to be a tough committee to be part of because there's a lot of stuff going on and it's so outdated. It's almost like you're establishing your own system that's comparable to the other districts that are around you. So it's going to be interesting, but there's a lot of work being done.
That's good. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Okay. Seeing none, that'll move us on to the next section.
Okay, Buildings and Grounds, 10.1. We seek approval to accept a proposal from CS&E to replace the existing gas boiler at the Swissvale Library at a cost of $38,900 through PA CoStar's contract 008-126 with funding from Capital Reserve Fund 32.
Any questions? Okay. Seeing none.
10.2, we seek approval for the use of facilities by outside organizations for the 2018-19 school year.
Any questions on that? I have a couple. Well, Mr. Finney, I have one related to the fee waiver that happens. So, Forest Hills Churchill Baseball is on here with a $50 fee.
Is it the men's group?
No, it's like it should be their coach pitch group, I think. But it's scheduled for the 27th of October. And it's on here with a fee. We typically waive fees of that kind for community sports organizations.
Okay, so to piggyback on that, so for instance, why is the borough of Edgewood using the gym and they have no fee, but the baseball does have a fee?
Mm-hmm. That's the Edgewood Basketball Little League. Same deal as Forest Hills Baseball. It's all youth programming, so it should all be waived.
But they're, according to the new thing, they are Category 2, right?
If they're charging a fee, they would be...
No, Category 2 is not charging a fee.
Okay.
Category 3 is they're charging the fee.
Oh, okay.
Right. Can we get an answer to what?
I'm not saying that they should be. This was my issue with. Right. I mean, it's like all these organizations that have for a long time not gotten charged any fees now, based on that new scale, are going to get charged $50.
Yeah. We need to talk about it for the 100th time.
Yeah, because we keep on going back and forth. Some we're changing, and some we're not changing. So.
Right.
There's still some confusion with
not throwing Metro basketball under the bus, but we proved them last time, and they were not charged
There was no
fees for any of their stuff. They're no different than either of these organizations.
Exactly. So we just need to get clarification on that.
Okay, so I don't care if Jamie or Jeff or even, can you explain to me in that same category of the borough of Edgewood, they're using a gymnasium for the men's basketball, and they're giving a rating 2. Is that what that is?
No, that's Little League basketball.
Okay, because the other one, because like Jeff said, one has a fee, one doesn't have a fee, and I want to know just what the difference between the two, other than the fact that maybe youth or men.
All right, so I used to run Edgewood basketball. So Thursday nights, Edgewood men's basketball, they play from I think like 8 o'clock to whenever. I don't think they charge for that. I think it's just a bunch of guys that get there and they play basketball. They play pickup every Thursday night. And then Edgewood basketball, they had practices every single night. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They'd have Thursday before men's basketball came in. and then even on Fridays, and then they had, so like Edgewood basketball, like they were never charged except for like on Saturdays. This used to be a big point with me when I used to run Edgewood basketball, so we would have to pay to have a custodian come in to open the building for us, but then that custodian, they were assigned jobs by the district to go clean stuff throughout the school. I'm like, wait, I'm paying your salary. How come you're, what do you mean? Because you have to be there, and all they had to do is just be there to open the door. And then, I guess in any of the garbage cans, and actually I tried to get all the kids, we picked up all the stuff out of there, do that, and I'm thinking, like, well, why are they working in the school? They should be down here doing stuff for me.
The fee that David's talking about, though, I think, is the $100 fee on the first page, the fourth row from the bottom. I think it's because that's the men's basketball, and we said we're not charging, or there's no charge if it's if the population is kids in the district. So the bottom two rows of that same page are the youth basketball nights versus the adults. I think that's the distinction.
Then also for the Metro basketball question, I believe they were approved for a new category, which is why they were not being charged. So I guess... Yeah.
But they stopped charging admission, so they were in a different category.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. But so that category is still not a category 1, which I believe is a school associated. One is for school associated clubs.
75% of our kids.
To be a category 1.
Yeah, that's right. Isn't that what it was prior? 75%, had to be 75% of our kids.
Okay, but I thought so. For example, the band parent thing and Hugs is on here, right? Are all category 1 because they're sort of school affiliated things, right? My understanding was that with things like Forest Hills basketball, the Woodland Hills and Soccer Association, all those things are not school associated. Yes, they have 75% participation, but they're all category 2 on here.
Right.
Right, because they're not sponsored by the school, by the district. They should be charged. I don't think they should be charged, but based on the
So we still need to review this policy.
Yes.
And get this squared away. So let's be sure that we have that on the agenda for at a minimum committees, and we'll get that sorted out in the next week with where these groups fall. Anybody else have questions on this?
Apologies, Bob.
They really should be Category 4 facilities used by Woodland Hills adult community groups and private and parochial when no admission is charged. Because they're an adult community.
You mean for the men's
Yeah.
basketball? But am I
different categories because 2 would be facilities used by Woodland Hills community rec boards, resident parochial schools, and children's scholastic service and athletic organizations.
Right, and that they should be charged for that.
That's a no charge.
That's a no charge. Okay, sorry.
2 is no charge. 3 is when they charge admission.
Okay, sorry, my fault then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
still confusing.
Yeah.
We'll get together.
We need to get it figured out.
He just needs to review the categories again and get the policy and correct the...
Well, yeah, we just need to make something that basically that will cover us for everything. So when somebody comes in, it's clear as day.
Right.
Exactly what it is.
Right. So then why is the Kaylee McDowell Foundation at 6?
So 6 is facilities requested for use by all groups.
It's a catch-all.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't even see it. Which one is that, Jeff?
That's like the third from the bottom.
Kaylee McDowell.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay. All right, any other questions? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on.
Okay, 10.3, we seek approval to replace Edgewood primary door number 10 from A.G. Morrow Company at a total cost of $12,395 per PA CoStar's contract 008-289 with funding from Capital Reserve Fund 32.
Any questions?
That's a door?
One last door.
At Edgewood, this is the last door, and this door wasn't replaced last year when it was requested to replace it, and it's gotten worse.
Beautiful door. Is it going to be a beautiful door?
I hope.
I don't know if anybody's seen it. It's pretty bad back here. It's rusted, so it's pretty beat up and it's ugly looking.
It'll match the other doors, right?
Yes, it'll match the other doors.
I think Paige is looking at the price tag on it, and
It'd be like stained glass or something.
yeah, Paige wants it
Better be stainless steel.
majestic.
Yeah.
Want bling on it too?
All right.
No, not necessarily.
It's amazing.
Any other questions on that? Okay.
Okay,
Moving
10.4, we seek approval to have Sidelines Tree Service to prune 6 trees, clean out all of the dead branches at the Academy parking lot at a cost of $2,257, funding from the general fund.
Any questions?
Assuming those are the trees in the front, the locust trees?
Drive around to where the main parking lot is. So you just go in the driveway there. There's 2 trees there. They're be getting cleaned up. And then there's a tree that's leaning over in the neighbor's porch. That tree's going to get cleaned up, and the lower branches where the cars are. And then if you go down further in the middle of the parking lot, there's 2 trees. There's a lot of dead stuff in there. So it needs to be topped off and cleaned out so no dead stuff falls onto the cars.
Didn't a branch fall on a car there?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
And to clarify, this is work that our maintenance staff can't do.
We don't have the proper equipment for it.
Okay. Any
We're
other?
having a tree. Didn't we have a tree at Dixon too this week or last week?
Oh, it's all gone.
All gone?
Yeah, they're just,
All the trees are.
Oh, okay.
All right. Any other?
went down part of the construction.
Any other questions?
Yeah, there.
Okay. Seeing none. Move on.
Okay, School Finance 12.1, we seek ratification of the bill list for invoices paid after the September 19th, 2018 legislative meeting.
Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question on page 15. So what is the... So there's several of them, and then there's several ones spread out throughout the bill list. So Borough of Churchill, employee, LST, Churchill. So there's like...
That's payroll. That's a local services tax. That's $2. $52 you pay every year. We withhold it $2 a pay from everybody. Yeah, we're paying payroll taxes. Okay, these are all the payroll withholding taxes.
Okay, so all right. So
The
we have an employee. If we have an employee who lives in Churchill, okay, gotcha.
They get,
Okay,
they
that's
get the money for the LST tax.
gotcha. Okay,
Or they work in Churchill, actually, because we have the high school there. So
right.
when you work, you pay the...
Right.
We
Okay.
have
Yes. Okay.
North Braddock here, and Rankin goes to Rankin. But they'll go to... It depends on who collects each one of these. Some of these municipalities still collect themselves, and some of them, they use Keystone or one of the other companies to collect their taxes for them.
Okay. So then on the same. So then following down on page 16, what's the Woodland Hills School District Foundation?
That's the foundation.
That's the foundation. So
Payroll
you're
deduction.
paying.
That's our foundation. You can contribute to the foundation if you...
Okay. Gotcha.
The Chocolate and Diamond Affair.
Yeah. I know what it is. I was curious why we were paying.
We have a payroll deduction, voluntary payroll deduction for employees if they wish to contribute.
I gotcha. All right. Don't ever remember seeing that, and I was wondering why we were paying that for. Thank you.
Any other questions on the ratification list? Okay. Seeing none.
Okay, 12.2, we seek approval of the October 2018 bill list.
Any questions on the regular bills?
Sorry, I do have a question about that. So page 8, if Mr. Corsi's still here, you might be able to answer this one. So we paid uniforms for a girls' varsity sport. Do we know what sport that is? Just out of curiosity.
That didn't print.
For girls varsity sport this year, we did replacement uniforms. So we did a couple field hockey. We did, what else did we have for uniforms? Field hockey and swimming as well.
Those that didn't print, it probably got cut off.
Okay. Because all the other sports are all defined which ones you bought them for, and this just says girl varsity uniforms. I was just curious what.
Okay. Yeah, we also you'll see probably next month. We're probably going to need some wrestling singlets, so you'll see that pop up as well. And then our business manager has told me to be cautious about the money I spend, but we're also looking at doing warm-up suits for swimming as well, because when they're getting out of the pool, their warm-up suits are about 15 years old. So you'll see that. But yeah, all we did right now was just replacements, and then we did a portion of for new athletes that are joining.
All right. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you. Any other bill list questions? Okay. Seeing none.
Okay, 12.3, we seek approval of the September 2018 fund reports and student activity reports for informational purposes.
Any questions? Okay. Seeing none.
Okay, 12.4, we seek approval of the investment reports for September 2018.
Any questions? Okay. Seeing none.
Okay, 12.5, we seek approval of the budgetary transfers for October 2018.
Any questions? Okay.
Okay, 12.6, we seek acceptance of the $1,500 donation from the grant makers of Western Pennsylvania.
Any questions? Okay. Seeing none. We'll move on.
Okay, under Superintendent, 14.1, we seek approval to enter into an agreement with Operation Warm to receive 400 donated coats at the Edgewood Primary School on October 26, 2018.
Any questions on that? Okay. Seeing none. Is there any old business? Any new business? Okay, that'll move us to committees, facilities. I believe that's me. So we had an extensive facilities committee meeting last week on October the 3rd. There were actually two parts of that. The first was renovation updates from our architects. We discussed the Dixon project and the progress there, as well as plans for the high school renovations that will be coming up beginning in the spring, we hope. We also discussed the roof leaks that are happening across the district, as is commonplace this time of year. We also discussed inspections that occurred at Wilkins as a result of some air quality concerns. The Schaefer building condition was discussed and ways we can address that. One of our neighbors had a tree fall from the high school property onto their property, and we're working with them to resolve that issue. As we saw in the tabs, there is a proposal to remove some and clean up some trees at the academy, as well as at the Wolverina, and we're working to replace the door at Edgewood. In addition, we're working on updates to ensure that we have the proper annual inspections for sprinklers and fire alarms. Those will be forthcoming, and the Swissvale furnace issue was discussed as well. Also, our kitchens are being inspected by the Allegheny Health Department as is required, and we're following up with Edgewood and Wilkins for fire inspections there. So that was facilities. Curriculum, Dr. Hildebrand.
Yes. So we have a comprehensive plan that's due this year. Mr. Clausen told us that is online and available for comment, right? So if you can visit that. Is that obvious on the website? Okay. So it's in the curriculum section, right, on the website, so people can look at that and send comments. He gave us some updates on some curriculum revisions, so the algebra and math, right? We've also, so geometry, calculus, things of that nature that we're trying to update. We're having, and this will come up again, I'll come back to that. He's doing the K through 5 social studies, and as part of that, we've consulted with Pitt to help us make sure that we have culturally relevant materials and curriculum within math. Right? I don't think people often think about math as a place where you have to worry about that, but it is absolutely true. And something that I've talked about many times is we're planning on moving up course selection at the junior-senior high school. Right, to hopefully have that done early, and so it'd be great if students can have their schedule by the end of the year. Right? Let's see. All right, and Jim, or Mr. Clausen wants to apply for a Heinz grant, and hopefully by the end of the year have that done. I guess we can talk about this here as well. So we've talked about an online registration for new students, right? That's up and running, right? So new students moving to the district, or if they live in the district and want to come to Woodland Hills School, we can do all of that online. We had a brief discussion about Rankin accreditation, and that really can't happen due to PDE rules, right? So that's something we don't have to worry about too much. And that's that report.
Okay. Athletics, Mr. Hanchett.
I haven't made the meetings for a while, so David Graves would be better off to give these information.
For some reason, my tab won't open here. Okay, I got it.
All right.
As we just discussed during the meeting, we're in the midst of revising our EDR for all our clubs and coaches. So that's going to be an ongoing process. We have a meeting next week for that. We're doing an implementation of school-sponsored sports and PE classes, and basically it'll give students the opportunity to test run several sports at a younger age, and maybe that'll promote interest in sports on the high school and junior high level that they may want to start participating if they get introduced to the sports within the PE classes. And those are going to be done with the varsity coaches holding like clinics for kids and players. Excuse me. I'm sure Mr. Corsi wants everybody to know we're still working on the scoreboard situation, and which is our scoreboard is getting outdated, and there's a lot of repairs being made, but those repairs we're using outdated equipment, and we're not going to be able to start finding the actual parts to keep fixing the scoreboard. So we have to have some type of strategy of what we're going to do about a scoreboard down at the Wolverina. High school hoop showcase. It's going to be at the Quicken Loans Arena in Cleveland, Ohio. It's going to be Woodland Hills versus Plum, and it gives the both teams the opportunity to actually play on a professional court. They're going to have the locker room experience, and be more or less the staff at the Quicken Loans Arena is going to treat them like actual players. So it'll be a good opportunity for them. And then following their game, they're going to be able to see the Cavs versus Knicks. The field trip will be more of a PBIS incentive, and we'll talk about travel in the future. Mr. Corsi has secured a corporate sponsor for the MLK weekend for 2019. That's the Stand Against Violence basketball showcase. IGS has committed $6,000 as a sponsor, and they have tentative agreement with other companies at $1,000 each. And there should be teams from 5 different states. So it looks like it's going to be pretty nice showcase that our athletic department is going to be doing.
Mr. Corsi, can you remind us of the date of the showcase in Cleveland?
Yes, Monday, February 11th.
Monday, February 11th, so we can start getting that word out to people. Okay, and that moves us to technology, which is me again. The technology agenda was brief on October 2nd. We talked about board policy for volunteers and making sure that we have the accurate information, that we have background and the tests that need to be completed for volunteers, including a TB test in our visitor management system. And we're working to implement the volunteer module that will help to manage our volunteer clearances in our buildings. So that is exciting. And that moves us to special ed. Mr. Seligson.
Okay, so for special ed, we talked about ESY. It's our extended school year budget. We spent $160,560 on that. That was based on the 118 students that were there throughout the summer. It's about $1,361 per student. We also talked about, I guess, the total out of budget number is $300,019. $819. Let me say that again. $319,819 was the total cost district-wide for ESY. And we had an average of 101 students per day, which that total cost was $29.34 per student. We also talked about the PASO, which is the alternative to the PSSA for the special needs students. There's some new requirements that the state came out with for us to make sure that these students are eligible for that test. And also we talked about the IEP reviews protocol for staff district-wide, making sure that all of our teachers are aware and discussing the special needs requirements for those students. For pupil personnel, it was pretty quick. We just did an update in regards to ADEY that will occur for next year, 2019-2020 school year. And we also talked about the update in regards to the gifted screener, which I believe is grade 6 and 2. Grade 2.
Correct. Okay.
And one more for Forbes. Yep. We had a pretty long meeting, and we are still in search of a principal. And we had a long executive meeting. So
okay. Thank you for that update. Anyone else have anything to report for committees?
There is one thing. Mr. Finney, can you come back? A lot of folks may not realize, but this man, and tell me the day, because I forget the day, when things are blowing up around Pittsburgh. When we were on the phone all night.
Today's Wednesday.
Yeah. Was it Friday, Thursday?
Well, it was Friday. We had Monday we had power outage at the academy, so we shut down on in-service day.
All night long, making sure that our buildings could open, because right when I left, we had no power in like half our buildings. Food was spoiling throughout the district, and he worked with the electrical crews all night. We were on the phone back and forth. They were up, they were down. I was freaking out because we had one school with power, another school without power. It came up, it went back down again. But in the morning, around 4 a.m., he goes, "We can open." I'm like, "Thank you," because I don't know what to do. But this man stayed up all night working with all those crews, and no one knew that morning what we all went through, especially him, all night. But I want to say thank you, because without him, we would have not been open, because things were exploding around town. I was out, and I heard things blowing up in Regent Square, and he called me and said, "Yeah, I just heard something blow up." He goes, "Yeah, we don't have power in one of our buildings, and food is spoiling." But working with Nutrition Inc., he coordinated everything overnight, and we opened, and no one knew, and no one was the wiser. So I wanted to say thank you. I said thank you that night.
Thank you, Bob. I just want to say thanks, and I couldn't have done it without Danny Bridge and Jack Wolf as well. So they helped me out a lot. So thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you. And thank you to the maintenance team as well. That's great. Okay. That moves us to public communication. Is there anyone who wishes to address the board at this time? Okay. Seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn? Okay. All in favor? Aye. Thank you all. We'll see you next week.